G'day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to take a look at burst mode and get a good idea of how you can complete the 6,000 score challenge using a legendary existence team. Now this is a little bit easier than the joined forces one because of a couple of reasons. One, you get a bit of a higher score with the legendary existence team, which kind of lowers the requirements you need in all the other places. And then of course you also get a pretty decent score, or you have a little bit of a better friend lead to choose from in the form of the new Super Saiyan God Goku, who's very strong. So overall we have a very solid team. Obviously a little bit less free to play units than before. You'll see a lot of the Bardock EZAs here. You'll see some pretty strong Realm of the Gods based enemies here. So all of these are pretty important, I would say. Obviously, I don't want to say to each their own, but generally this team requires a bit more summonable units than maybe some of the other ones do, which is fine. It is what it is. It's not a huge issue, but it is obviously something that is somewhat important. But yeah, basically to cut a long story short, looking pretty decent so far, I would say. This one's a lot easier to run than the other team. So with the other team, obviously a big mechanic to it was basically making sure that your fusion duo would heal, and you would have to kind of tank through the Beerus phase and things like that. You don't have to here. With this one it's a lot simpler. You simply just basically have to beat Beerus. That's the thing. It's a lot simpler kind of process. You don't have to do anything crazy. It's very much just straightforward and easy to do. So obviously that's I want to say that's something that makes this run far easier than some of the other ones, and because of that you don't really need to kind of move too far away from just treating it like a normal event, because honestly the strength of this team is so much more than the other team. But with that being said, there are a lot more summonable units in this one. If you don't have LR God Goku, you can use the physical Goku if you have him. If you don't have either of those, you can use the int UI Goku as a Realm of the Gods lead. You'll just have to change out the Bardock unit. There's a couple of changes you can make here or there, but generally speaking you should be fine. You can also use the LR int Namek Goku as well as the lead. So there's a couple of viable options that you can run without having to work too hard. The important thing is to make sure that they're all pure Saiyans, because you want to use the physical God Goku as your friend lead. That's kind of the main thing. As long as you can do that, then you're basically sorted, and you shouldn't really have a huge problem or anything like that. So yeah, beyond that I would say you're pretty much good to go. Like I said, God Goku does a lot of the carrying, which is fine, especially if you can get him to crit. Then it saves you a lot of problems and a lot of trouble, which is great. And yeah, in general you tend to have a pretty decent time. Obviously, full disclaimer, it is always a little bit more difficult when you say you need to use summonable units, but at the same time it's also sometimes easier than having all the free-to-play prerequisites, and it's easier to not do the grind over and over again. So yeah, it's an easier team to use. It's just a little bit harder to put together because it requires a couple LRs and summonable units and things like that, but you can tweak it as necessary. I don't think you need a team that's as strong as this. The most important thing is making sure they all fit under the Pure Saiyans lead, so that you can use their friend God Goku. Once you can do that, you're basically sorted. So there's really not anything too crazy that you need to do. There's not a huge factoring that you need to put in. You can just basically go ahead and you should be more than good to go. So from my perspective, or from that perspective, I would say you are basically sorted when it comes to this. And yeah, I think in general you should be more than fine. Obviously the goal is to beat Beerus before he enters his rage mode, but it's also not a huge conundrum if he does enter his rage mode. But yeah, if you can beat him beforehand, it does make it easier. But with this team, defensively, it's not that big an issue. And that's it. So that's both category challenges done. The Legendary Existence one is definitely not as free-to-play friendly as the Join Forces one, but it's arguably a lot easier to put together because there's not so many restrictions and weird kind of maneuvers you have to do. So overall, yeah, pretty good stuff. But beyond that, I think that's basically everything you need to have covered. So yeah, but I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and as always, see you next time. Bye.